You know where the character comes from? I was a geek in high school. I was 5'1", 92 pounds, tortured and beaten and everything. That's the puny guy that writes this material. So the girls would use the F word with me. Friend. I was always the friend. And they, you know how girls go to the bathroom together? They took me with them. I was that big of a geek. And that's when he was born, was they would say the guys that they liked, and they're always badasses. So then I said, how can I give them? And I gave them, yeah, baby. You see naked and afraid, I get naked, you'll be afraid, baby. He just channels through me. I practically close my eyes and become this whole other guy. When you're that guy who is not accepted, to become another person is, look at Pee Wee Herman did. There's so many people that have done it. Larry the Cable Guy, these are people that they fully commit. But like 7 minutes out of my 2-hour show, I'll give them the Love Master.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest today. What an honor, Craig Shoemaker.
An honor?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It has been an honor. It has been a privilege to be here. I watched this, actually. One of the few podcasts I watch.
Do you watch it in double speed?
No, I watch it in 60-second clips. Whatever pops up on my Instagram, I watch it fully, all the way through.
Really?
Yeah. Just so you had Danny Robinson, my former agent, my first agent was on.
Yeah, I love to have industry people on to give it a different perspective, you know?
Well, yeah, that's why it's called industry standard, I would imagine. But yeah, I'm so happy to see you because it's been forever, but we still look the same, don't we?
Well, you look so young. I look like I'm a homeless Jewish biker that got hit in the face with a bag of coins. But
Have
you
you
look
said
really
that before?
Good.
Was that,
no, I don't.
Was that ad-libbed?
The bag of coins probably added to it, but I can fix it in editing.
Yeah. So, well, I think you look great. So there's your self-esteem boost for the
All
day.
right,
Now let's get on to. I'll do my Barry Katz. By the way, I do one of the better Barry Katz's apparently.
You do?
I do. I just don't do it.
All right. So why don't I ask you a question? I'm you, and you're a Barry. Okay. Right. So here we go.
I'm in competition with like Jay Mohr and all the great impressionists out there.
So Barry, what do you attribute to your incredible success and your also incredible bone-crushing failures?
The reason is you have to find somebody that has holy moments. You have. I'm not gonna do this for you. I remember some of the things you coached me on. By the way, that was one of them. You're looking for holy. Well, yeah, you were my manager. I know you forget.
No, I don't forget.
I used to say it was in your Dane Cook years. I used to say if I was dying and Dane Cook lost his luggage in Phoenix, you'd be on the first plane on Southwest Airlines to Phoenix because he always took priority. Once in a while, I was like a mistress. You would see me in Brea, like nowhere in town would you be seen with me. But yeah, I have a lot of little nuggets.
We did a lot of projects together. Oh. We did that thing which I loved, which was a comic comes into a bar or something. I used to love that project that we worked on. We filmed that.
You know who was in it? The people that became famous.
Why don't you talk about it?
Well, I brought it to you, and we filmed it. As a matter of fact, I can't find the film. You've got to find it. It's called Blank Walks Into a Bar. And you know who was in it before she was big? You hooked me up with, not hooked, you can't use that word anymore, but Whitney Cummings.
Yes.
She's in it, and Bert Kreischer is in it. Yes. It's Blank Walks. We acted out bar jokes. So I was the bartender, the consistent bartender. They would come in and it'd say like, you know, they'd walk in with a piece of the street. They'd say, I'd like a drink and one for the road. Like really dumb bar jokes. But I don't know whatever happened to it.
So I paid attention sometimes.
You paid attention? Well, pay attention, find the damn thing, because we could go sell it. Come on, we got to keep selling stuff. I have 40 projects on my slate, all because you have inspired me to never just look at the abundance of the world of creativity. It can land in any direction.
Well, I'm flattered that you think that I inspired you, but I wanted to inspire you.
You have nuggets that stayed with me. They were critical too, you know, like some criticism. I don't want to be glad-handed, and that's what makes a good manager. You would pull me aside and say, here's some tips for you, or here's what you should work on, and stuff like that. So I always, as a matter of fact, people that I employ, I say, you've got to find holy, I can curse on here, right?
Yeah.
You can find holy shit moments. That's yours.
Yes.
Yeah. You got to, whoa, look at that. Yeah.
I always, the only artist that I can remember, if I were to look back, where I actually had like this like incredible like, you know, these sort of battles to try to get you to see things the way I felt they should be done. And I would fail over and over again trying to get you to do things that I wanted you to do. I remember one time you had this thing, I'm going to film this special this way. I'm going to do it. And I'm like, no, you can't film it that way. Don't film it that way. No, it's going to be great, whatever. Right. It's like, no, let's just hold back here. Let's just figure out something else to wear. Oh, I want to wear this jacket. This is what I want to wear. I'm like, I don't think.
You mean the jacket that was gray that had sweat?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. Oh no, this is going to be fantastic. By the end. And it's like he's got this special that literally, you know, it starts off and you can see that like it looks like a map of South Africa and Rhode Island on the other side, and it's like I just
it ended up to be the whole Earth at one point.
And then between shows,
yeah,
I go to him in the dressing room. I'm like, okay, we have another show.
Yeah,
okay, we have another show.
Yeah,
this is my suggestion. Let's get another outfit. Let's work for another outfit for the other show. Let's forget about that first show. But Barry, I killed in that first show. I see, but you got a sold out crowd here. If you flub a line, we can fix it. We can do whatever. No, I'm wearing the same outfit. Fucking same thing. It's like, I
was drenched by here's Craig Shoemaker.
I think I just literally, I think I just felt so helpless with you.
I did have women's, you know, pads. They have, you know, those pads.
You had a fucking Depends diaper underneath.
I had everything, but it just didn't work. Should have listened to you.
and back then you had to spend.
Is this podcast gonna be a list of the things that I did wrong?
No, I'll go through all the things I did wrong. That's all. I mean, I've done so many things wrong. That's what this podcast should be.
Starting with signing me, the guy who wouldn't listen. So you're telling me that I'm like number one on the list. At least I'm number one somehow. The guy who resisted
one of the most challenging people to resist advice that I've ever dealt. And like, this is another thing about you that's fascinating. It's always been fascinating.
By the way, folks, notice the word fascinating. This is going to turn into fascinating. Is not going to be a term of endearment. Go ahead. Fascinating.
So when I worked with you, tell me if I'm wrong. I remember this vividly. There were, I believe, 8 or 9 markets that were like ironclad for you, that were like just, you could literally walk in and, you know, go to the bathroom on the floor and every show would be sold out and you'd make a significant amount of money. And you were one of the people back then that were getting great percentages. A lot of people weren't getting great percentages.
Right.
And so you'd worked up to an incredible thing in these 8 or 9 markets. Mm-hmm. And one of the battles that we used to have all the time is like, okay, well, when you're doing well in the markets, this is the thing that a lot of comics I don't think look at or whatever. You go into a market and you have a bad time in a market, a lot of comics, they just go in the dumper. They just go depressed. Oh, fuck, I don't have it. I'm not going to be good in that market. I can't do it. Let's just stick to the successful things. But when you're doing the successful weeks, you don't work hard towards anything. You just celebrate. You just celebrate the victory. But when you go into a new market and it doesn't go as well as you want it to go, that's the world telling you, okay, let's work on these things so we can get more markets and get more things together. But I think a lot of times at the time, you would rather celebrate the victories than fight hard to go into a market and build a market. And so, and that's what I always felt was very challenging with you as well, because I thought you were somebody who all they had to do was just, do a little bit more in those markets and they would all take off. The other thing that's
I certainly won't challenge you right now because you say that I challenge you. So
No, that's okay.
I'll allow that. But
That's how
I do.
That's how
it's somewhat my experience. I can see where you would come up with that, but it's also not my experience. When I was with maybe other management or whatever it was, I actually quite the opposite. Work markets like no one did. Like press. That was my thing, is learning how to do radio, which that's out the window now, which sucks. So I still have people that I have relationships with. There's probably a good like 7 to 8 that are still really good morning shows. That's how I did develop in those markets. In Los Angeles, I sell out all over, Orange County. It was all from 5 o'clock funnies and working the Heidi and Franks of the world. That's what really did it for me, is the radio.
Yeah, but also, like, as you see in this world, there's an evolution, and there's always going to be an evolution, and people can say, oh, now you got to do this. And then 10 years from now, it'll be like, oh, they're not doing that anymore. Now you got to do this, because that's what it is.
Dane did MySpace.
Yeah. But then, you go long ago, before anybody watching this was born, and there were silent pictures, and then they went to talking pictures.
Yeah.
There was radio, and then it went to television.
Yeah.
There's always been evolution.
Absolutely.
And if you don't change and you don't figure out how to navigate and evolve with it, you're fucked. And I've been doing this podcast for a while, and I can't even tell you how many people told me, don't do this. This is going to be the end of you.
Don't do the podcast?
Yes, because
really? Who would say that?
Look, if you're a manager and you're doing an interview with Ted Sarandos and you have 6 clients that have their own podcast, what are they going to ask you after you do the thing with Ted Sarandos?
What do you mean, what are they going to ask?
They're going to ask, how come he's on your podcast and you don't help him get him on mine? How come I don't have a meeting with Ted Sarandos? How come I don't have a deal with Netflix?
Clients are going to say this to you. Right.
Yeah. It's artists want to know that you're just, you get up in the morning and you eat, drink, and live what they do, which you do, which I do, which is what I've always done. But I think it's valid to sometimes take a couple hours a month and to help people. And I always think, as a manager, it's like when I work with you, and you may or may not feel like I helped you or I did help you or whatever. Let's presume it was positive, which I feel it was. I'm only helping one person, you. And when I do this, I can do something where I can sit down with you and it can help a load of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that feeling, just like you love helping people as well.
I thought of something on the way in here. It's like if you about AA and 12 steps.
I'm not in the program, but
you know about it.
I love my favorite is something that somebody near and dear to me says often to me, is the 3 C's. For the person who isn't partaking, but they're adjacent to somebody in their life who's partaking, and I can't cure it, I didn't cause it, and I can't control it.
Right.
I love the 3 C's.
What I was thinking of on the way in here, similar to what you were saying, is it's a group purpose, is to help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. I believe that's the same thing, that the rising tides float all the boats in comedy and laughter. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter who's delivering it. If we have the group purpose of helping other people find this levity, find this light, find this love in their lives, it's a wonderful thing. That's why I've never believed that we should knock other comics. Like, it used to be like Carrot Top or Jeff Dunham or whatever. It's like, who cares? They're making people laugh. Why do you analyze that they're using props or whatever? I just never understand that. So that's the thing you're saying, is why not help everybody? Help the world through laughter. It sounds Pollyanna, but it shouldn't sound Pollyanna. Why would that not be our group purpose? Just like I said with, like 12 steps, that's what it is. You help others.
Well, I think the issue always is that there's a lot of purposes out there that are very important, and everybody has their own idea about what purpose is more important. Is it more important to cure cancer or give a dying kid their final wish than it is to, heal the world with laughter? Everybody has their own idea of what the most important thing is. You've gone forward and you've been riding this incredible, I'll call it a wave of humor and helping people since I've known you, and people love that, and they love you for that, and you're a very misunderstood guy, I think, for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know this about us, and you probably don't remember, but when I was in Boston 40 years ago, could be more than 40 years ago,
played against
you were the
Sam's.
first person from
Yeah.
out of town
Yeah.
that I brought into the club, into my family, my group of Boston comedians and whatever.
Sweeney
And you were in
Clark.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I saw a videotape of you, and I was blown away because back in Boston, there weren't people who could not only do stand-up, could do impressions. Some people did characters, but also do music and dance. And so
And storytelling.
storytelling.
Yeah.
And so you were combining all these things. And I think when you went on that night, you killed so hard that I think it just shocked a lot of those comedians there, and because they never seen anything like
they
that.
have a club. I mean,
And they had their own
it's a
club,
stranger
and they didn't like the stranger coming into the club.
I get it, yeah.
So from the first time I met you, I was dealing with resistance from other comedians on how you did your comedy or how you did your act, but things they're cyclical. I was with Scott Thompson, Carrot Top, last week. I spent a lot of time with him, and what's exciting talking with him is after all these years, it's like, you're respected. You're going on Rogan. You're doing Kill Tony. You're the only guy on Kill Tony. They don't even have a panel when you're on. And after all these years, taking all the beatings, that he's a guy who sold out, and 20 years in that venue. No one's ever done anything like that. And so for you, I think there's a lot of things that people don't understand about you. And one of the things that people in stand-up never understood how you did it. And because they think to themselves, they've always been told, I can't do this. I got to move on. Every year I got to move on. But the Love Master, the signature final piece that you have in your act, that is the thing that I think you're the most famous for.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do that consistently throughout the years, and you don't give a fuck. It's like the crowd wants it. You give it to them.
Well, think about, I think you're also a fan of Bruce Springsteen, aren't you?
Yeah, but other comedians don't. I am a fan of, not a fan of people always speaking out politically to get people angry at them. But the point is in music, we all know this. You go to see Springsteen, you know the songs you want to hear.
Yeah.
And in comedy, for some reason, since Carlin or whatever made this edict that you just... I think it was Carlin, because he did 14-hour specials. It's like, hey, the material goes on television, it's gone. It's retired.
Yeah, right.
Not Craig Shoemaker. Craig Shoemaker gives his audiences the greatest hits.
That's what my point is, though, with Love Master, I can keep writing new lyrics. He can't do Baby, I'm Born to Trot, I'm Born to Jog. He's got to do word for word, I'm Born to Run. The Love Master character says different lines all the time, so they can come back for the new lines for the character, that's the advantage of doing a best of. And by the way, I've done shows without it, and sure enough, they come up afterwards and go, how come you didn't do the Love Master?
Yeah.
And corporate wise, I can't do the Love Master.
Well, I think that you just said something really fascinating, but a lot of people don't do it, and they don't figure it out that way, is that the Love Master is a character.
Yeah.
And the character, just like Craig Shoemaker, can write new things for the character.
Yeah.
So every year you could do a different Love Master with different lines, and it's like a mini character. It's like I don't know. It's like a spin-off within your act.
Well, I mean, if you see like Andrew Dice Clay, he does those nursery rhymes, right? I don't know that, I don't really follow him, but I don't know if he does new nursery rhymes, but they're waiting for that and they do it along with him. They can't do that with me because I have different lines all the time, but it's still the same character. And you know where the character comes from? It comes out of reality. I was a geek in high school. I was 5'1", 92 pounds, no pubic hair. It was all tortured and beaten and everything. That's the puny guy that writes this material. That's the guy that was discounted and discouraged and beaten up. So the girls would use the F word with me. Friend. I was always the friend. And they, you know how girls go to the bathroom together, the posse pee? They took me with them. Like, literally, they go, come on, I was that big of a geek. And that's when he was born, was they would say the guys that they liked, and they're always badasses. So then I said, how can I give them? And I gave him, yeah, baby. You see naked and afraid, I get naked, you'll be afraid, baby. He just channels through me. And he literally channels through. I practically close my eyes and become this whole other guy. When you're that guy who is not accepted, to become another person is, look at Pee Wee Herman did it. There's so many people that have done it. Larry the Cable Guy, these are people that they fully commit. I could never commit to the entire time. I've never been able to do that. But like 7 minutes out of my 2-hour show, I'll give him the Love Master.
In your entire career, what's the longest Love Master you ever did?
The like one after the next. I do
just
one
like
after
the longest period of time you stayed in character of the Love Master.
I'd say at the most 10 minutes.
That's the longest.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Do you think an audience would stay for 1 hour?
No.
Coming to see the Love Master with all new jokes for the Love Master?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I wouldn't be entertained by that. I really love just.
But you don't think the Love Master could write routines? Not the one-liners, the routines.
Nah.
Because the Love Master, what's amazing about the Love Master, this is the magic trick of the Love Master.
Yeah.
So I hope, if for those of you who have never seen him do it, you gotta check it out online or whatever. But the magic trick of the Love Master, number one, the voice. The voice is. You
want to know who the voice is?
No,
I've never told. You don't want to know.
No, I want to know. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, that was fast. No, I don't want to know.
I was just joking.
It was Lou Rawls. Remember Lou Rawls?
Of course.
Baby
You'll never find.
You'll never. So it's a combination of him and Tommy Lee Jones from U.S. Marshals or The Fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we're going to search every outhouse, whorehouse, hen house. So I'm the Love Master, baby. Baby love. Be with me through all of my ups. So it's a combination of that. He's this deep guy, this real sexual ethereal that has all this confidence that Craig Shoemaker does not have.
Does not have.
Yeah.
So it's the voice, number one. And the thing that people don't, I think, realize is that the Love Master is the joke master. So it's like, let's look at somebody who's a 44-year overnight sensation. Let's look at Andy Huggins, the one-liner guy who's 75 years old.
Okay.
He has like 300 million views on just one video and whatever. Mm. And it's just all these one-liners.
Yeah.
But he's doing them as him. And his theme is old age. So he might, come right up to the microphone and say, I started walking up to the mic stand here 20 minutes ago. Just all these things. So his premise is old age. The Love Master's premise is, I'm a sexual deviant who will turn any woman over to, like, I don't care if you're married, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you will go with me. Just a confident. It's
kind of like having a puppet, like a dummy, like a ventriloquist.
Yeah,
and he's that guy. And I worked with Willie Tyler and Lester, and we did a play together, and it was me and Wendy Kaminoff used to have so much fun because you can't pronounce P's when you're a ventriloquist. And they gave him this line, exposure, pal. That's the name of the game. They go, exposure, pal. That's the name of the game. But anyway, he told us stories that women would sleep with him with the puppet.
Wow.
So I've had women that sleep with me as the love master. They only want me to do the love master.
So they, in your past, you would have like one night stands or relationships or something. And the first thing when they get back is they say, could you be the love master?
Well, and then they say I'm very disappointed once I turn into Craig because I can't hold the character the whole time. I've been very disappointing.
That's fantastic.
It's also like, once you've said that your cock is that big, there's nothing that's ever going to live up to that. So, yeah.
Well, something tells me you're not doing so bad. You've always had beautiful women, and you've always had great relationships.
Oh,
with
bro, it's
extraordinary
bad
women.
now. I'm dating. It is not good. It is not good.
Why is it not good?
It's awful because, first of all, where do you meet them? Here's another thing. Remember when comedy was great? What it still is. Like, women are after funny guys. Not at my age. That they're going, I'm not going to be part of your little skit. I've had literally women who go, I won't go out with you. You're not going to be making fun of me on stage. Like, women who date rock stars and singers are, oh, that's me. I'm Sharona from My Sharona. That's me, Rosalita. He wrote that for me. You think they're going to sit in the audience going, oh, it's my PMS. He's talking.
So, but what's
this
bad?
Is all about, he wrote this for me.
So you're single. What's bad about your personal life now with women?
It's atrocious. I asked
what does atrocious mean?
I'll tell you. I'll give you a few examples. I asked my friend. I've known her for years, and she's very Christian. And I said, we're friends. She laughs with me and have a good time. And I said, why don't we go out? She goes, I can't date you. I'm married to Jesus. That's what she says. I said, well, there's some competition. This guy's rising from the dead. I couldn't get up last Saturday. I tease her. I text her all the time. I go, by the way, I don't want to be gossipy. He's seeing other people. Turning water into wine might be alcoholic.
That's funny.
So, yeah, you got a bit out of it maybe, but I didn't get her out of it. No, they turned me down. For that.
Are you attracted to people your own age or younger women?
I just dated somebody much younger, but we couldn't date anymore because she's going to want to have kids, and I'm done with that. That's for sure. But she's the one I got along with the most. She was quite a bit younger, but her family's saying, "What are you doing? You have your life ahead of you. This guy's not ahead of you." And so they talked her out of being in the relationship. We're still friends and all that, but I went on 4 in a row. And this is no exaggeration. 4 in a row. This is what I draw in. I don't draw in normal. I thought I did with my last wife. I really did. She was awesome until she wasn't. I had 4 in a row that had to blow into a breathalyzer tube to start their car. I'm not exaggerating. Then I find one last minute online to go to see my old buddy Kenny Loggins, his last concert. I said, thanks for doing this at last minute. She lived nearby. She gets in my car. She goes, how's dating going? Oh, I had 4 in a row to blow in a breathalyzer tube to start their car. She goes, you might find this funny. Me too. I swear to God. She goes, I just got out of rehab. And our next date was in an AA meeting. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever, by the way.
I thought that was illegal to do that.
Illegal to do what?
You're not supposed to date people in AA, are you?
I didn't know that she was, and I didn't date her after that. I took her to be of service. I mean, I literally took her to an AA meeting to be of service. I didn't want to get laid or anything. Nothing ever happened.
Would you believe that I've never met a man or a woman who has to blow into a tube to start their car?
I hadn't met many.
So let's go way, way back. Let's go back to what kind of parents you had. What was the socioeconomic? Were you poor? Were you middle class? Whatever. And what was your first inspiration to getting into the comedy business?
Well, they're kind of the same answer. My dad left when I was born, and
have you ever seen him since?
Oh yeah. He became a cult leader, and I would go help him out with the cult. He ran mule rides in the Pocono Mountains. It was called Pocono Adventures on Mules.
Your mother let you go to a cult?
Well, no. I mean, all through the years, he had the cult when I was a little older. I was a teenager when he got the cult.
Craig, this is so crazy, and I just want the audience to know this because you probably haven't heard everything we talked about beforehand or whatever. So we're talking about, I'm just going to say one of his ex-wives. I'm not going to say who. And I say, how's she doing? And she's like, oh, she left to go into a cult. And now you're saying your dad was in a cult.
Correct.
And then you're talking about the 4 people who blow into a tube to start their car. 5. I've never met anybody in a, I mean, it's like, there's so many things that are common here. Like, what is happening in your life?
I actually have had many times, you know, my nickname is Shoe. And my buddies will say, only you, Shoe, only you. I've had a life that is so rich, from poor, by the way, dirt poor. I used to think the word evict meant move. I thought they were the same word. But I was like, here's the eviction truck, Mommy. Pack up and go again. 13 places before I was in high school. We lived a number of different places, eating Spam, and I was really tiny, so I was beaten. There's a lot of like tough stuff that I went through, and I believe this was the training ground. I was kidnapped when I was 13.
Kidnapped by who?
A serial pedophile. I didn't know he was. I thought he was a good friend. You know, he was a father figure. I was always searching for a father. You might like this one. I used to write letters to famous people to fix them up with my mother. I thought, there's the solution. She'll be happier because she was unhappy. I thought my dad's name was doesn't pay the child support. I thought that was his name. And I wrote letters to like Paul Lynde, the Center Square, Uncle Arthur, and Bewitched.
I hate to tell you, but I think he was playing on the wrong team as your mom.
My dream was to be the first father and son team on Hollywood Squares. We'd share the box. Take it, son. It's a sports question.
One of the greatest secrets, one of the greatest Center Square.
He was the greatest, right? And I want him to be my dad, and I want him to marry my mom.
I used to love that voice.
Oh, yes. So, Paul, how many balls on a billiard table? How many guys are playing? I mean, he was a classic. And I read an article in Parade Magazine. He was single. I was a kid. I didn't know why he was single. I thought he was happy. So I wrote to him, Tim McCarver. I looked at baseball cards. I could care less what they hit. I looked for one thing, marital status on the back. I can tell you that Shayna Bowe was married to Larry Bowe, the shortstop. Donna Schmidt married to Mike Schmidt. I threw out his card. He's
Did anyone respond?
Hall of Famer. I only wrote to one because they were married. Tim McCarver.
Did he respond?
No, he didn't. But I told Joe Buck that story, right? I said, dear Tim McCarver, meet my mom. I told my mom, this is your guy. He's a pitcher and I'm a catcher. I'm a pitcher and he's a catcher. He can teach me baseball in the backyard. Anyway, he doesn't want me. Yes, he does. I wrote him a letter. Here's my mom's picture in her belly dancing outfit. Whole other story. So he never wrote me back. I told Joe Buck that story. Joe Buck's his longtime partner in broadcasting. Joe Buck gets me a ball. It's signed by Tim McCarver. It says, dear son, time to grow up. Love, Dad, a.k.a. Tim McCarver. And what's odd about it, Tim McCarver died within months of my dad, my real dad, who I did get to know. And the way I got to know him was I always had to work for him. That was the only way, like he would say, he'd come to the door. Let's say leap year, he would come around. It was always you had to please my dad. And I would, he'd say, Barbara, he's got baby hands. He needs man hands. So before he would come over, I'd take an emery board and I would scratch my hands so I would have rough hands when I meet him. And then he would put me to work or put me in the middle of converting cesspools to sewers. Talk about a shit job. If you're under like Shawshank Redemption, I'm under these homes like with a little miniature shoveling in there. In 1966, Andy Dufresne escaped from Shawshank. All they found was a set of mother prison clothes, a bar of soap, and an old rock hammer nail that worn down to the nub. Andy. Those were my times with my dad shoveling. And he always had schemes. The entrepreneur, that's a French word for scam artist. The best, Barry, you're going to love this one. I hadn't seen him in years, poking my head in the living room. There he is with my mother. She invited all her friends over for a bra party. He had bras meets Amway, like a multi-level marketing. He's smoking his pipe. There's all these women in bras. My Aunt Fran, Aunt Dottie, Aunt Barbara. Show how lifts and separates. Come on, Dottie, don't be shy. Just you women and me. This is our 3-class model for the full-figured woman. Well, this guy's a genius. So he became the love master for real. He had 14 women, called it his harem. I hadn't seen him in years. Another time, now I'm doing really well in comedy.
So he had 14 different women he was sleeping with in the Poconos.
Yes, one time.
Why did they agree to that?
I don't know why does anybody get into a cult? I don't know. He becomes like a father figure for them. He had a mother, daughter, and everything. And one time I was with Richard, Jeni, and Glenn Farrington. We were doing a tour of the Poconos, and he's got this Pocono Adventures on Mules. He said, stay at my place. I'll never forget. Jeni, I walk in, I go, shh, guys, you're going to wake up my father. It was like really late. and he called himself the king of the Poconos. And whoever won the award that day got to sleep in the quarters with him. So one has her sleeping bag rolled up. She goes in with him. So he's got all of our sleeping bags ready for us to come in. That's where we're going to stay. I go, "You're going to wake my father." And Rich Jeni goes, "Shoo, fuck your old man." And a mule he rode in on.
So, great impression.
Richard Jeni, shoo. And we had such a fun being there, but it's so obscure. That same day, this girl goes, "Hey, Daddy." I go, "Is that my sister?" And he goes, "Yeah, I guess so." So now we found each other a few years ago. Now she's another sister for me. So yeah, it's like it's not a normal life, but each thing that happens, I just go, "Are you kidding me? Another thing that I got to deal with?"
How did comedy come up? How did you decide to start?
The only way to get through this was laughter. I mean, I even laugh about my suicide. I tried suicide when I was a kid. When I came back from being 13, I came back from being kidnapped. 5 days in a ghetto hotel in Washington, D.C.
How did they find you?
He took me back. He just said, "Don't you."
That's a funny joke there. I got abducted, and I was so bad at being his pedophile kid. They took me back. That's funny. You didn't kill me.
I do say something like, yeah, I wasn't even good for a pedophile. I did argue with him, just like you. I was resistant to what he wanted to advise me on. So I came back, and my mom says, "Don't you ever tell anyone." I really got into a depression. I started drinking heavy at 13. And then I took these, my mom, she always dressed me up, and with I had these neckties, and I took them, I tied them together. Is this making you uncomfortable? You okay?
No. Do I look uncomfortable?
So I tied them, I put them over the closet door, tied them to the knob, and I had a noose I learned in Boy Scouts, and I dangle for a while. I'm choking. And she comes over, she rushes into the room, she goes, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Those are new neckties. I just bought those for you. Get up." So that's the gallows humor that led to, I understand now fully that the only way to get through life is a sense of humor. The only way is to make people laugh and to laugh with other people.
Hey everybody, it's Barry Katz, and I wanted to talk to you about Blueprint for Success. This is a community that I put together during the pandemic to help all artists of every walk of life in the entertainment business, no matter where you are in that part of this journey. It's designed to help you. There are podcasts with people that will inspire you, like Kevin Hart, Judd Apatow, Bill Burr, that you can't find anywhere else but on this program that I've interviewed, to times where we get to talk to executives in the business that you would never have access to tell you what you need to hear and to answer your questions, to all sorts of different videos and master classes designed to help you get to the promised land. That's what the Blueprint for Success is. Doesn't matter whether you want to be a stand-up comedian, a sketch performer, a podcaster, an actor, an actress, director, writer, social media person, whatever you want to be. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've had the honor and been humbled to represent people like Chappelle, Wanda Sykes, Louis C.K., Dane Cook, and probably over 20 other people who went from a studio apartment to being a multi-millionaire and a household name. And I want that for you, and I wanted to take the time with this program to be able to help you on your way there, to get there and to heighten and increase the trajectory of your career. Blueprint for Success is the way to go. I'm proud to be a part of this program, and I'd be proud to have you to be a part of it too.
So where do you go your first time on stage?
I was actually working in a law firm. I was going to do the traditional thing, be a lawyer, and I was working in a law firm, 17 years old, and I was really funny, and I do impressions of the mailroom guys. There was Sal over here, and I would do impressions of celebrities. And this guy, Jim Mardinley, he had long fingernails because he was a guitarist. He said, "I need someone to perform between acts of my band." And that was it.
For those of you who don't know, as a comic, and they don't do it really anymore, but one of the things that booking agents would try to do when you had bands, a band would play, let's say, 3 sets, and there would be like a 10 or 20 minute break or between sets. So naturally, why not put a comedian in to fill the time? But what happens is the audience is standing, they're singing with the songs, they're dancing, whatever. And then the comedian comes on. It's like a different muscle, and they want to talk to each other because they've been loud music. So it's one of the hardest gigs to do well in.
Yeah.
Were you able to do well in that?
It was 107 degrees, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in a part of Philadelphia, completely all black audience. And I didn't know I was black at the time until my DNA was just done, 14%. But anyway, I had my 5 friends were there, and I got a couple laughs. It was literally like the crack hit. And I went, this is really cool. And I switched from being an attorney, a lawyer, and I put myself through college doing comedy. I've been paid because I do impressions.
When was the first time you got paid?
Sandy Supper Club. No, that was Sandy Supper. No, what was that? Casa Conti outside of Philadelphia, in Jenkintown, where Bradley Cooper's from. And I opened for Johnny's dance band. They were a huge band back then. And I did pretty well. And I got kind of known for that. And I got paid. And I performed. I even went away to college, paid my college by doing fraternity parties, strip clubs. And I even performed at the president's inaugural ball. I'll never forget this.
Performed for 4 presidents.
Well, no, I'm talking about the president of the university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did perform for 4 presidents, but that was later when I was successful. But this, I would never forget. I used to do celebrity smoking pot, and I'll never forget this visual. I'm doing Curly is high on the ground, going, whoop, 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 and I'm looking,
that scissors thing around.
doing this, and I'll never forget the visual of all the black shoes from the black tie affair. And I'm just going, what am I doing? I remember that visual so well, and I got paid to do that. I got paid. I just told them I was a famous comedian.
Tell me 5 of your celebrities high.
The 5, there's of course, Mayberry. That's damn good weed you got right there. And Floyd, I'm hazy Andy, there are seeds in my marijuana, Andy. That was my first.
So it was all about the old television show.
Old television shows, old impressions. There were many more impressions you could do back then, too, because there was only a certain amount of channels.
Now, there was one person that I remember that I think that you did that's an impression that was a character on a show. I think it was Green Acres, Mr. Haney. And you
remember that?
Oh, that was my favorite that you did.
Whoa, that is really
Can you do a little
old.
bit of Mr. Haney for
Sure. Mr. Douglas, have I got a deal for you, Mrs. Douglas? A genuine imitation fur-lined battery run dildo for your pleasure, Mrs. Douglas. Pat Buttram.
They were all
How in the world did I just do that? And literally, there's 0 people in that audience that know what I just
But
did.
just so you know, these old television shows that he grew up on were like all these weird, like redneck kind of television shows.
Yeah.
That a lot of the most successful television shows had to do with people who were outsiders and, like, you know, from Beverly Hillbillies to these Hicks to Green Acres to, I mean,
CBS had a whole lineup, but you and I watched them reruns. These are the reruns.
Andy Griffith.
These are the only choices we had for reruns. Gilligan's Island. So we'd come home. There was on UHF. Remember the UHF button?
Yeah, I had the rabbit ears. I had to figure out how. I had flyers to
and yet, if you missed the channel, you had to go all the way back around.
Yeah.
And then so
you became a headliner right away
because I do impressions.
So how
impressions
long?
Are like music, you know, people can listen.
So how many times had you been on stage before you actually became a headliner in a comedy club?
A year.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then I put myself every dime of college. My mom gave me $10 once. Every dime of 4 years of college, 4.5 years of college, I paid for from doing comedy or bartending or something like that. I did a lot of jobs and things like that. But yeah, stand up was it was a whole other world back then too. I mean, it was like.
When was the first?
I remember with Rosie O'Donnell, she and I started together.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had one day where we counted the amount of comedians. There's Ron Darien. You know, we could count the comedians that were out there on the circuit.
When was the first time you realized that you were a draw? You sold out your first show, and they were coming to see you.
You brought up the Love Master, Tony Modica. I'll never forget this, and I always thank him for this. Rooster T. Feathers in Sunnyvale. He goes, "You should
near San Francisco.
You should call yourself the Love Master." Oh, it was like 2 seconds of my act.
Mhm.
And you bill yourself as the love master. No, because people don't remember names, especially my name. There was Schumacher. They always put an umlaut on off the boat from Bavaria. No, it's Shoemaker. But anyway, people can't remember that. Dane Cook's got a good, strong name. Certain people know it's difficult. The Love Master, they remember. They might call me Love Maker and things like that. But he's the one that got me going, okay, I'm going to dial this up and really make it a part. And that's how I became the draw. I also did things like, this is pre-internet, where I had a fan club. I'd send out postcards. I did all sorts of stuff to start to draw. I have a fan club. Some of the people are still with me, by the way.
Well, this
It's
is one of the
amazing.
things I wanted to ask you about for the audience, because there's a lot of people in the audience that are like, there's people that are,
Who's this guy?
there's people that are like really, really, they want to know they've been doing things a certain way, and how do you evolve? Now, you still sell out shows,
Yeah.
but now it's not about morning radio. Now it's not about certain things like it was MySpace or whatever. It's not about the ads in the newspaper. It's not about whatever. So how do you, as an act who kills, not just does well, fucking destroys, but how do you know, and who helps you, or how do you understand how to navigate to the next level of business that you have to do in social media, your YouTube channel, the Facebook splits, the things that are going to help audiences find you of all ages?
But do those things help? I'll give you an example. Somebody who sells out theaters.
Anything helps.
What about Brian Regan? He's not working that like that. This dude has a reputation, and I like to think I'm the same way, but just to a little less of a level, where you just said I kill every show. I do 2 hours a show, and they walk out of there with the best experience. This is one of my, if I'm giving tips, give the people a really wonderful experience that they know. I'm a Springsteen fan because I walk out of there, he gave me everything. He brought it from the heels. He gave a long show. He told the truth. I'm up there telling the truth about who I am. I have no qualms about that. And they relate to that. I just had a couple reviews just the last couple of days. I screenshotted them. They said, you know what else we love about you? And they say we, like they're taking a survey, that you'll talk to the people afterwards. I talk to all the people afterwards at the merch table, or if I'm not selling merch, I just take pictures with them. So it's a relationship with the audience. And I think that's what's missing for a lot of stand-ups. They don't have a relationship with it. They think it's about them, first of all. I'm of service. You know, I got over panic attacks. I used to have horrible, debilitating panic attacks. Like I thought I was dying, literally. Dick Shawn would flash through my mind.
How'd you get over them?
I prayed backstage to be of service. I prayed backstage, be of service to the people that could use you. I've had people that were ready to commit suicide, or I know this one who became a friend. She lost her mom 2 hours before the show. She still showed up. All these people, I have memory of them because they thanked me afterwards. People that have babies now, the guy went home and did the Love Master. I can think of 5 that give me credit for the conception of their baby where they couldn't have kids. So it means something to people. So if I can think to myself, reframe it where it's not about me, it's not about success. Look, I've had all the successes in the world, 10 photographs in the New York Times. You know what it is? It's in sepia. It looks like a Civil War article. So it means nothing. All those awards, Comedian of the Year and all that stuff, it means nothing. It's in the moment, every single time in the moment. I give everything that I have, and then they stand in appreciation. So they walk out with a feeling. Remember, it's how they feel, right?
No, I know it's the feeling.
It's the feeling.
But in this day and age, you have to get the people to come.
That's right.
And pay the money to get the feeling.
That's tough.
So what I'm asking is, how are you evolving?
Well, I do all the things that you named. I'm constantly have a new staff. I've got people that are working this. I've got a guy in Philippines. You know, they take clips. I've got a new dry bar special, which is squeaky clean. That's really good. You know.
Now, do you mind if I go toe to toe with you for a second?
Go toe to toe. Well, I'm not going to stop you.
And no offense to Dry Bar, which I think it's an incredible business model, and
let's go toe to toe.
The owners have done an incredible job.
Yeah.
But why would you give your prized material to a company that is going to utilize it for their own financial benefits because it's a business model.
Mine too.
Whereas let's face it, if you can find me 10 comedians that can show you significant checks that they've made from Dry Bar, please send them over to me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. And so
I'm going to give you your answer.
No, I'm not done yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you're doing Dry Bar as a commercial for your career and giving another company all the YouTube material as opposed to doing the special and putting it on your channel and you benefiting from it and driving people to your live shows.
Okay.
I'm shocked that
I have the answer.
I'm listening.
Okay. First of all, it forced me to be clean. Hold on. I'm giving you the answer. You don't like my answer?
You're a very spiritual, amazing religious man.
Let me give you the answer.
Nothing force you to do anything. If you want to be clean, if I told you I have a corporate show for you tomorrow
be clean,
for 25 grand for an hour,
right?
You got to be clean. Yeah. Oh, that didn't force me, Barry. I'd like to do Dry Bar. That'll force me, and then I'll do the corporate show.
No, I concentrated on developing a set. Now here's what I get out of it. I can now do more corporate because I have it now. I got so many things out of it. Plus, you get a deal where they pay you in perpetuity. First of all, there's that deal. I got these clean clips. I send the clips around TikTok and everything else. Now it can go viral, and that's how I can develop an audience. That's an audience that's there for clean material. A lot of the country wants that. So that I gave it to them with a well-shot special, and I'm happy. And now I'm doing another special, though, that is my special, the one you're talking about. That one I'm going to do. I'm going to let you in on this. Okay, maybe you can produce it with me, and I'll listen this time. What I'm supposed to wear.
I've got some great guys, Emmy Award-winning guys, who will do it really inexpensive.
So here's the special. Over here is my safe zone in the stage with a microphone and a spotlight, which is odd because a safe zone for most normal people would not be doing stand-up comedy. That's where I do the tried and true, boom, 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 jokes, really get them going. And then over here with a lav mic, hands-free, is all the experiences I've had that led to doing comedy.
I love it.
The really deep stuff.
I love it.
The stuff I've never talked about my dad on stage being a cult leader, running mule rides, and all the other things that he's bought me a car for my 16th birthday, signs the title over, drove away. Never saw the car again. So these are the things that's the reason that I'm over here. But this is the guy that celebrates with other people and we laugh together.
No, I love that because it's like it's a different thing. It's almost like, I'm not saying it's the closest in tone to Three Mics Neil Brennan. The closest in tone.
What's funny about that is I actually did that before he did that. I already did a special where I did that, but it wasn't called that. Then when he did, I'm going, oh, there goes that. You can't do that. But yes.
Remember the old comedian that did I think he had the one mic, but he would go.
Yes, Barry Mortar. No, not Jeff Mortar.
Yes, he would go from one.
He went from one in there. Now that was before this thing, but I haven't seen his special. But what does he do on the Three Mics? What's the difference on the Three Mics?
See, it's not like but I'm just saying it's a different perspective of each mic.
Well, this guy over here is hands free and free.
I love it.
And this guy over here is the stand up that we all come to love with the punchlines and everything else. But this one's more vulnerable, where vulnerability becomes the superpower. And it's teaching. It's really teaching the alchemy of laughter, of how it saved my life. I mean, literally, I died in Jamaica. I overdosed in Jamaica. I died, hover over my body. Just had this very rich life where sometimes I go, you got to be kidding me, to the universe. You got to be kidding me. I was married to the best woman I ever met in my life. I absolutely...
Which one was that?
Yeah, I got to go which one. I hate when people see people.
Well, how many times have you been married?
Which one? Twice, okay? The other one was annulled. It doesn't count. It's the ones that I had kids with. That's what counts, right? So anyway, the other one I went through hell, as you know. But this one, amazing. Like, unbelievable. Like, I used to say she's the best human being I ever met, and there's not even a second or third place. And then, boom, she had her second kid. She hit menopause. Ladies, don't get mad at me. That's just a fact. You get mad if you say that. And she followed this cult leader. She got her sovereign freedom. I had her in a golden cage because I would hand over the checks. And
it's unbelievable that you've had 2 cult experiences.
My dad had a cult. I married my dad. You're supposed to marry your mother. I married my dad. She just needs to smoke a pipe. It's just.
But what about your kids with her?
It's 50-50. You know, I'm still a great
dad. But they go to the cult?
No. It's a lot of it's online. And they have multi-level marketing scams and all sorts of stuff. And she does posts every day with these videos. Hi, look at me. You know, it's a real.
Is she remarried?
No, here's the topper. Now she's got a podcast about BDSM that our kids could hear about being beaten and choked. So that's really great. There's nothing you could do. Fathers have very few rights.
Now she's a podcaster talking about the love master on the female side.
Oh my God. I wish there was some humor to it. Maybe there is. I haven't listened. I can't listen. My friends have told me, they said it's disgusting. But she was the greatest person I ever met. But then I actually wondered to myself, was it the whole thing a scam from the moment we met? She lived in a treehouse with no running water.
Well, you had a treehouse at your house.
Well, that was at my house. But she moved into that house. The tub was bigger than her place.
She moved into the treehouse.
She moved into my house. The treehouse was an office and a fun little. I can't believe you remember that treehouse. It was awesome.
I remember everything.
But she remembered. She lived in in the middle of the woods when we met. And I'll never forget her being in that tub. And she said, "This is unbelievable." So did the scam start there? I mean, did she scam me the entire time? That's what's really like. It really like hurts. Yeah, I've been hurt my whole life. But this one really hurts. Is like, was she ever in love, or was it all to get the 2 kids, to get the money? You know, she got me for. Then we got divorced. Listen to this. She kidnapped the kids. This is no exaggeration. Changed the password on the bank account. That I wrote her name on the bank account and stole $1 million. This is the woman that I gave everything to. And this is where I'm stuck. I got to find the comedy.
What'd you do when that happened? How do you handle that?
You know, you got to, I actually handle everything, as you said before, in a very spiritual manner. I have to look at my part. I do amends letters.
Look at the bright side. You don't have to pay child support or
I do pay
alimony.
Child support.
Well, she got the $1 million.
No, I got a lot of that back.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Oh, yeah. But no, I have to pay that too. I have to pay because men have it so good these days. It's unbelievable. And if you make money, they get half no matter what. So she could have been scamming me the whole time. The court doesn't care. They don't care about your feelings. No man. There's no support groups for men. You don't see men in halfway houses. It's always the man who's the abuser, but not the women. And so I'm writing a book now. It's my only answer. I'm writing another book. I'm a creative guy, and the outlets are many. We have many outlets, and that's what if I'm going to advise people, you know.
What's the title of the book?
Get out of line and into alignment. Get out of these lines that we're in. We're in these lines and echo chambers, and we're all angry at each other. Get in alignment with your own soul, and that's where we need to be.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6.
6 degrees of separation.
6 degrees of separation. I'm going to mention some names. Tell me a word, a sentence, a little story. Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Washington, D.C. He's 15 years old, opened for me. I was a headliner at 22, and he killed. And I said, this guy's got it. He was one of the people I predicted. I was right. And he made $150. And now I want to go to his house in Yellow Springs. I still tease him about that. So you did pretty good.
You ever done the club in Yellow Springs yet?
Yeah, twice. Yeah.
Tell us about...
Not the club. I did the outdoor cornfield.
Tell us about that.
Well,
what it's like as a comedian getting invited out there and doing it.
I have to tell you, on a highlight reel for being accepted by peers, which I never feel like that's going to happen. You know what I mean? I always feel that was the one time he says, come on over. And he's giving me the tour of, this is my hotel. You can stay here if you want. It was like, and I brought a kid with me who was opening for me. Imagine that being that kid. He's in the back seat of Chappelle's car, just dying. It was so funny to watch. I'm all about other people's happiness, by the way, way above mine. I took Caroline Ray there, Tammy Pescatelli. I took them there as well. It was unbelievable. It was like sort of pandemic-ish. That was still sort of happening. So it was outdoors. So the first time I'm there, I get there, there's Jon Stewart, having dinner with Jon Stewart. I walked in with Caroline Ray. Oh, and then we've got Donnell Rawlings, and we've got Sam Jay, and then Jimmy Fallon, who I have a story with him. He opened for me, or he did a guest set, and his manager, Randy, says, he's might be signed by Saturday Night Live. And I said, you do a guest set. I'm thinking, wait till they see me. I said, Caroline's. I packed it out and everything. And I'll never forget it. He walks off, I go, good set. I normally wouldn't give him a set, but I was thinking, I did it selfishly. They're going to see me. 11 seats were empty when I walked out there. They signed him in the other room to a contract. So he and I talked about that when I got there. And that was really cool. I got the Chappelle thing. And then Chris Rock, he walks in, I'm Chris Rock. And then, yeah, really? He walked off his private plane. And there were just so many people
why was
there.
everybody there at one time?
He has this thing called summer camp, and I agree with him. What a wonderful thing to do! And people just pop in, and there's all those great comics all in one place, and we're all there for the same reason. The pandemic, especially the mental health, took a big hit, and here we are lifting people up in a cornfield in Yellow Springs, Ohio. It was crazy.
How many people show up in the cornfield? Is it expandable to a lot of people?
I just talked to someone last week who was there. They said they've expanded the amount of people, too. At first, they didn't have as many. But imagine being there. You're in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and you've got all those superstars on that one stage in one night. Jon Stewart, Jimmy Fallon, Caroline Ray. You imagine that? And then Chris Rock, he closes the whole thing out. And by the way, this was right after he was slapped. I mean, the handprint was still there. And it was interesting to watch him work that material. So that was really cool, too. To be on the inside on that kind of stuff, that's where it just feels pretty good to be. I'm also regarded as like OG. I had a woman backstage, a comedian. She goes, what's OG stand for? Old guy? I was like, oh, God, that's great. So, yeah, it was really cool. And I did it a couple times. And, I'm staying in touch with him a little bit. He's a goat. I mean, he's incredible. It's amazing to watch that. He far surpassed me, and I'm way fine with it. I have no jealousy, by the way, for anybody. I believe in everyone in comedy. If you're going to get out there and do this, which is a big risk, we're essential workers. We're out there doing our thing. I applaud everybody who's in stand-up. I'm coaching it now. I'm really doing a great job, by the way. I know every facet of the business. I've been in it longer than almost anyone at a high level. I have something to share. I don't want to hold on to it. So I've got some clients. I got 3 that are retired. And that's really interesting. This is their bucket list. So I'm like taking them from scratch, 70-year-old guys. It's really cool. And I've got some young ones, and I mentor them. I get more out of that than I do me. I've already had all the standing ovations and all that kind of stuff. I'm not driven anymore by what I was driven on before. It just doesn't do it for me. Fame doesn't do it for me. I don't have it in me. I did want to say one thing. The potency that we have in us, it's abundance. We have abundance. So I'll take it down. A book, I'll do a special, I'll do all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be just comedy. Your creativity manifests itself in any different way. I have a horror film now. I've got a cartoon that just won quite a few $1,000s, an animated cartoon. I mean, I don't care what it is. It's some creativity is going to pour out of all of us if you tap in properly.
Awesome. Let's mention some more people.
Who you got? My 4th grade teacher?
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler. Interesting. I did 2 episodes, guest starred on her show, Parks and Recreation. And we're on this float. We're kind of like between scenes. I hear this guy on the bullhorn. He goes, all right, everybody, we're going to take our places over here. And I go, hey, Phil. He goes, how'd you know? How'd I know? With that accent? So we start talking back and forth. He says where he's from. I said, I gave him my big resentment. And I said, that's why I said, no, I go, in the history of film, even the great Robert De Niro, no one does a Philly accent. Did you know this? No one does a Philly accent in the history of film. All the great actors, Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, they all did New York accents with the dropped R. So it's my little resentment. I'm getting it out. And Amy Poehler, of all the people, my boss, she goes, I did one in Baby Mama. I'm like, uh-oh. So I watched the movie, and she did. She knows how to do a Philly accent. And of course, Tina Fey does one as well.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The 3 comedians that you don't want to follow.
Did you ask me that because it was that ad lib from when I walked in here? I walked in here and one of your guests was here and he's on my list of 3. There's 3 comics that I could not follow. Ibarra.
Dustin Ibarra.
Correct. Bowden, Alonzo Bowden, Fattel, Mitch Fattel. All 3 of them, I went, whoa, man, that was tough. A real struggle. And I got chops, man. I could get out of anything, any situation. Woo, I'll never, and when I saw him in here, I still have PTSD. Killed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. The Laughter Heals Foundation.
Yeah. It was all formed because years ago, I've been doing comedy for a while, you know, and I did a movie called The Love Master. I don't know if you knew that, with Farrah Fawcett. And the director was Michael Goldberg, who wrote Cool Runnings and Little Giants. Very good friend of mine. His daughter was actually conceived. He imitated The Love Master, another one, while we were filming in Arizona. Baby Kayla was born. And a year and a half after that, he was such a happy, happy dad. And he got brain cancer, and they gave him 3 months to live. And that was my moment where I went, is this really about me? And is laughter the best medicine? Why are we not deploying it? If it really is the best medicine, why do we never say that? Why do we never really get into that? So I started working in a cancer facility in the Valley. He showed up for all of it. 3 months to live, they gave him. I said, here's your prescription, folks. Get off the news is one of them. Share funny movies with each other. Guided laughitation I created, you know, because it doesn't have to be about jokes. Intentional laughing. Your body doesn't know the difference between a fake laugh and a real one. All this research. I have a doctorate now. Really, really got into this. The healing powers of laughter. And then he showed up for all of it, and he lived 15 years past that prognosis. And I went, yeah. I'm not saying this is all that did it, but it does. If you're on drugs or chemo or whatever, it improves the efficacy if you laugh. So intentional laugh. Now I do a thing called the laugh bath. It's a riot. I go to yoga studios and things and conduct this laugh bath. It's so much fun. It's so good for you.
So instead of a sound bath.
Exactly. It's sound bath, silly cousin.
How does that work?
Well, I take people through exercise. You start with that. It's a cleansing word. You know, hallelujah and Haagen-Dazs. You know, it's a very cleansing word.
So you're not lying down like a sound bath.
Oh, no, I do that.
Comedy.
No, I do that too. No comedy, by the way. It's only laughter. Listen, comedy is different than laughter. It really is. Patch Adams does great work, but if I'm sitting in my hospital room and a guy shows up in a clown outfit, it tells you how subjective it is. I'll pull the plug. I'm not interested. It's not funny to me. But what's funny is contagious laughter. I could do it with you right now. It's so easy to do. Not easy to do. I developed these protocols. So Gold shows up for all of it, lives 15 years, and then he ended up in hospice in an old age home over in, even though he's early 50s, in the Valley. And I visited him, and we knew, we filmed it. And I said, Golds, what can I do for you? Because we had about 5 other people. We had Team Golds. I said, what can we do? And he's just staring. He's in a full coma, just staring. I said, you know I'm here? And we filmed it with this director, another Team Golds guy. And I said, what can I do for you? I leaned in and I said, want me to jerk you off? I've never done anybody but my own. I'll give you a handy. He came out of a coma and he goes, he laughed. He died 2 days later. But I felt really good about that. By the way, I didn't go through with it. I did not honor my commitment. But I felt really good about that we kept him laughing the entire time. It gives you reason to live. Joy is a great reason to live. It beats all this misery that we have out there. Misery loves company, all the fighting going on. We're going to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, according to you. That's because that's your world of echo chambers of negativity. I don't believe it. I'm not going to buy it, turn away from it, just create this own space, this space that we're all together on this planet to have joy and laughter. And that's what, it's that simple.
Your proudest moment in show business.
Wow. Proudest moment in show business is a tough one. I mean, I've had these typical ones where I won the Comedian of the Year at the American Comedy Awards.
Who did you beat?
Well, I know one person I beat because he was very bitter towards me. I mean, really bad. I don't need to say his name, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, you could say the 4 that you beat.
You get a target on your back when you're David Tell. I beat him. I think he might have won later. The previous winners were Jeff Foxworthy, Ellen DeGeneres, Jerry Seinfeld won. So I figured I'm going to get my own sitcom about a gay redneck in a show about nothing. And it was the loneliest night of my life.
You don't remember the 4 people you're up against?
Attell, Will Durst. Yeah. I mean, I know the other guy, but the bitter one. I don't want to talk about him, but
okay.
And I won with the female who won was Wendy Liebman, who always was my favorite comic. I love her. We won this back in '98, but it was the loneliest night of my life. I'm going, now what? It really was. So the achievement-wise is weird because I've had all these great achievements, but I will tell you I had a moment last year in a theater outside of Philadelphia, my hometown, Sellersville Theater. And I had this moment on stage where I just accepted the bliss. I didn't think about what was coming up next, and I didn't think what happened before. It was like this moment of presence that I really felt fully connected with everyone in the audience, fully embracing that energy that was so different. And that was my favorite moment ever on stage. And I had it the week after, the days later, which was weird. It was 2 days. I was in Pittsburgh, same thing, both in theaters. And both were those moments where I'm going, well, this is what it's about. Just being with people like they're my friends. And that's how I treat fans, is they're my friends. So it was really cool. So the achievements, those are worse. And when I won an Emmy, I got drunk. I fell off the stage. And when I won the Comedian of the Year, it was lonely. It was horrible. I was like literally backstage. Friends of mine were looking at me like, oh, you didn't deserve this, you hack. You get a target on your back. Thank God Dunham won couple of years later that he got the target for a while. So being in that position is no fun. I think, see if you agree with me, I think comedy these days is more camaraderie though. I don't think that exists as much as it did, that bitterness and jealousy. Do you agree with that?
Well, I do, because comedians are in control of their lives more. They don't have to rely on other people. And so when you're in control of your own life, what do you got to be bitter about? You could be bitter about the fact that people aren't coming to your shows as much as somebody else, but you're in control of that. Yeah. And so is that other person. So, and
you think that's one of the reasons there's more of a kinship and like the Kill Tonys or whatever it is. There's these groups of comics.
How do you get mad at Tony Hinchcliffe, who started a show from scratch with 40 people in the audience in the belly room? And how do you get mad at a guy who was doing, I think, doorman stuff, was parking cars? How do you get mad at a guy who is a self-made man? How do you get mad at Bert Kreischer when he does the movie The Machine, of a story that he's had in his life for God knows how? How do you get mad at Andy Huggins, who's been doing comedy for fucking 45 years?
I'm going to give you the answer to that. You get mad if you're a jealous and bitter person.
No, but I mean, these people are
it happens. But I'm just saying, I think
you can get jealous about somebody who isn't a traditional stand-up comp. Now, maybe jealousy is the wrong word, but you can get upset if a guy's selling out and he's a social media influencer and he's not a traditional stand-up comedian, but he's working in your houses, which are your stand-up comedy houses. Right. And it's like, wait, this is for our stand-up comedians, Let there be a social influencer comedy club or whatever. So that's why people get upset sometimes.
I noticed that during the pandemic, these outdoor shows, and I would do them, and that's when I really noticed. And Chappelle's summer camp, wow, we're in this together. No jealousy. The rising tide lifts all these boats. And that's when I really saw it. Mark Saratella booked this Hollywood thing in the round. And I would see people I don't normally see. And then the Improv and the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory have these shows that are unbelievable. They're like all-star shows. I can't believe they don't sell out. I mean, it's amazing. All on the same shows. Leno and Arsenio on the same show, and superstars. But I'm just noticing much more. This did not happen back in the 90s. It was a lot of stabbing each other in the back. Everybody's on their own and that kind of thing. But it's really nice to see people, like when I go into these clubs now, they're, hey, what have you been up to? Of course I know you. I never think anybody knows me. Of course I know you, and I know them and stuff like that. So we're all in it together.
2 more questions. Your biggest disappointment in show business and how you used it to fuel yourself to the next level.
I had a deal. I was the guy back in the day, 20s. 1989, I was guns ablazing. Me and Rich Jeni moved out here, and John Mulrooney. We were like gunslingers. They signed me to NBC contract, and I got way too cocky. I bought a car, Lincoln Mark 7. I forgot I wasn't in Philly. There back then it was big and classy, big with the wheel well and everything. Bought a house, got the girlfriend and all this, and it was all about the outsides. It was all about these ideas I had about fame. Like I wanted a parking spot, and I pulled up my first day. I go, "Hi, Craig Shoemaker, looking for my parkers," and the guard goes, "You're not on the list." I go, "Oh, perhaps they missed it. I'm the new NBC contract player." He goes, "Yeah, take your place next to Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney." It's like, there's no contract players like that. So it was all about what I was going to get now and get revenge on all the people that picked on me, the girls that wouldn't go to the prom with me. That's what it was all about, not the work. So it all did culminate into a test deal. It's a test deal where you sign the deal. I'm going to make $15,000 a week for a minimum of 13 weeks. The show was sold. NBC was called Nut House. Mel Brooks was the producer, one of my idols, Brandon Tartikoff, all these people, right? So I show up in the office. I'm only against one guy. I'm going, this guy's not going to get it. I'm the NBC contract player, this poor sucker. So he's in the room auditioning, Joel Thurm, the big casting director. I start flirting with the assistant. I'm the new NBC contract player, and she hands me on my sides. The script. I go, I don't need this. I'm going to get this. And I walk in. I circled some things and lines. I went into a full panic attack because they didn't introduce me as the NBC contract player. I was very upset. I start shaking. I'm doing my lines. It's a show called Nut House. Harvey Korman's the lead with Cloris Leachman, more idols. Everything is freaking out now, and they're staring at me. I'm going, no, I'm not getting a laugh. And now I have a phone call in the script, and I have no presence of mind to just do a mime. I pick up a phone. It's an office phone. I go, "Hello, Nut House. I'm on the phone. I'm on the other line." Hang up. I go, "Mr. Nut's not here. Did you hear me? I'm on the line." He's yelling this into my ear. He's in another office. I don't have the presence of mind to switch the line. And he goes, "I'm on the line." I go, "Mr. Nut's not here. I'm reading my lines into the phone." And I said, "Well, Mr. Nut would be here. He's upstairs eating a Nutter Butter sandwich. Did you hear me? I'm on the line." And he finally screams, "Get off the line, get off the line." He finally goes, "Get the fuck off the fucking phone." He screams, the whole room heard it. I hung up that phone. And that was it, man. I got the reputation he can't act. There goes the contract. There went the girlfriend, the house. It all went away, all because I couldn't be in the moment, couldn't do my work. It was all about the fame, the fortune that I thought was coming. And if I learned anything, that's the day that I learned something. Not that I didn't keep going somewhat on those lines, but that was a humbling experience.
Last question. What advice do you have for the young comic who's growing up in a tough situation, abducted, kidnapped, cults, but has to fight through it and have the kind of extraordinary career that you're having?
The only thing I can say is I'm resilient. Resilience is a big thing in the world. We should all be more resilient, stop being in the victim Olympics. I'm really sick of that. Everybody wants to, have the more victim and the cause and the ribbons and everything else. Let's just really get well, really work on self, evolve. I always say it's the off stage. It's way more important than the stage. Get your voice, know who your voice is. If your voice is someone who responds a certain way to those difficulties, then that's who you bring to the stage. You bring a whole self, a whole person. Do the journaling. Journaling to me is more important than joke writing. Joke writing is a formula, but really journaling and knowing who you are and having those contemplative moments, that's what's really important. That's when I coach and I have master classes and things like that, and I'm going to have another one coming up. That's what I teach, is to get your voice, know who you are. Off stage, like you're hanging out with your buddies or hanging out with your friends, your family, whatever it is. Who are you? Why are they telling you should be funny, that you're funny enough to get on the stage? They should be. You shouldn't be on it for just the ego and you think you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get the girl, you're going to get the guy, you're going to get the attention, the love that you didn't get at home. Well, I learned my lesson on that one. No matter how famous I got, it got worse in those situations. The people that I wanted to love me ended up not liking me even more because they smell the desperation.
Amazing.
How's that?
Craig Shoemaker, thank you so much. It was fantastic.
Now that I'm with you, I don't do a good impression.
I appreciate it.